Hello class, welcome back to EDUC 1300. In our last lesson, we discussed motivation, determined our life roles, and established criteria to make meaningful goals as we work towards our dreams and ideal futures. Although goals and dreams are important and help you set your destination, only persistent, purposeful actions will get you there. Let me say that again. Although goals and dreams are important and help set your destination, it's only persistent, purposeful actions that will get you there. After all, creators do more than dream. They make purposeful actions. So in this lesson, we will discuss time, how it affects our actions, and discuss the concept of time management. However, before we begin, I need to talk about how this lesson will flow. This is probably one of my favorite sections to teach, and in the classroom I often show a few videos as I teach this lesson. In an effort to cover the same material with you, and to help you better understand the concepts in this section, I will be dividing this lesson into several segments. I will cover portions of the lesson, stop, have you watch a video, then pick up with the next segment of the lesson. In other words, this lesson may be a little choppy. However, don't worry. The videos will all be in order, so you should be able to go from one segment to the next as you progress through this lesson. So, with that in mind, let's begin. First, have you ever felt like this? Louis E. Boone, author of several business and economics textbooks, jokingly stated, "I am definitely going to take a course on time management, just as soon as I can work it into my schedule." Or maybe you felt like Michael Traylor, who suggested, "If it weren't for the last minute, a lot of things wouldn't get done." Or maybe like any a college student might say, "How am I supposed to work, go to school, do homework, study, stay in shape, be social, help out at home, and get 8 hours of sleep at night?" If you've ever felt like this, you're not alone. As you can see from these examples, we often have a lot of good intentions. However, our execution towards those intentions may be lacking. Simply put, just talking about a goal or a dream is not enough. We have to actually work towards those goals if we hope to accomplish them. We know that Thomas Edison did more than dream about inventing the light bulb. In fact, he performed more than 10,000 experiments before he reached his goal. Martin Luther King Jr. did more than just have a dream of justice and equality for all people of all races. He spoke and organized and marched and wrote. Furthermore, college graduates did more than just dream about their diplomas. They attended classes, read books, wrote essays, talked with instructors, formed study groups, did research, asked questions, sought out tutors, and much, much more. In all three of these scenarios, each individual or group achieved their success through the persistent repetition of purposeful actions. Therefore, they went beyond their good intentions. They actually worked towards their goals and dreams. How many times have you heard someone say, "I just didn't have time to get it all done," or "there's just not enough time in the day"? I'm sure we've all heard someone say things like that. In fact, you may be guilty of saying things like that yourself. But what if we change the way we think about time? What if we viewed time as a resource? What if we had $1 for every second in our day? Or what if we learned to budget our time much like we do our money? Would we be more aware of our time and how we spend it? Would deadlines be more important to us? Consider this. What if I said, "I will give you $1,000,000 if you have that assignment into me on time"? Would you get it done by then? Sure you would. Why? Simply put, when something becomes important to us, or when we make it a priority, we often find time to complete the task. However, many of us struggle with creating priorities. Peter Turla, a well-respected time management guru, stated, "You shouldn't be dusting your knickknacks if your kitchen counters are still dirty." What do you think he meant by that statement? Simply put, I believe Turla is suggesting that often we don't take care of the big things because we're so focused on the small, insignificant things in our lives. Therefore, we often feel overwhelmed when we're asked to fill our lives with so many tasks. Take a look at the next video to see what I mean.